confirmed for tomorrow, some announcements out of the president on a stimulus package. I have all the details for you in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright, so finally we're going to begin another update right out of the president's on the stimulus package tomorrow evening. Yes, it has actually been quite a while now since we've gotten some type of solid update either out of Congress and either members of Congress or the president on the stimulus package. However, tomorrow evening, the president will be out with the first State of the Union's address talking about a variety of different issues going on right now, as well as the newly revised stimulus package. Now they did release some of the details for us today, and as far as what we can expect in the speech tomorrow, and I want to let you know what we can actually expect from the president tomorrow as he is out addressing all of us, the American people as well as Congress. So let's quickly run through some of the key takeaways that we should watch for in this speech tomorrow. There was quite a bit that was released today, and I want to share that with you right now. Alright, we've actually been talking about this for a few weeks now. As far as the Build Back Better agenda, otherwise known as the reconciliation bill or the stimulus package, it's no longer going to be called the Build Back Better agenda. According to the research and what was released today in this announcement, they're no longer going to be calling it the Build Back Better agenda. But rather tomorrow evening, as the president is out speaking, he's going to be calling on Congress to send him legislation. So either way, we've got to pay attention to that. And when he says that tomorrow evening, that just means the stimulus package. It's still the reconciliation bill, multiple trillions of dollars to be spent within this package. Alright, so they did lay out for a few provisions that we can watch for in this package. Now there's a bunch of them in there. This is not all encompassing, but I picked out a few of them that I think a lot of us want to pay attention to. Number 1, he's going to be calling on Congress to send him legislation to lower the price of prescriptions. Number 2, lower the price of healthcare costs. Number 3, lower the price of childcare as well as lower the price of utilities for the lower income families and households. At the same time, there's also going to be talk about the elderly as well as seniors and people with disabilities. There was not a whole lot of talk about what that may contain. So the whole point here is basically what the president wants to do is come back and basically call on Congress to repass or not repass, like reopen up the Build Back Better agenda, but rather not calling it that, but just calling it legislation. And according to research and what was actually released today, it looks like the president will be calling on Congress to essentially pass everything that it was calling on earlier in the reconciliation bill, the Build Back Better agenda, but avoiding that name. So he wants to tiptoe around that, because here's the deal. This name is not selling, it's not working. Therefore, they've got to have a different approach on this. So that's just what they're saying right now. Anyway, it should be a very interesting speech as the president addresses all of us and Congress tomorrow evening. And we gotta listen for anything that may indicate some type of additional relief right now for the lower income, the fixed income people right now who are really struggling. But here's what's interesting. It was about 2 weeks ago I said, hey, Chuck Schumer was out of date, and he indicated that senators and people in Congress would be out actually introducing different anti-inflationary agenda items to help low-income families and people who are struggling right now. During this time with anti-inflationary agenda items, whatever that happens to be. But anyway, kind of interesting how Chuck Schumer said that about 2 weeks ago, and now here the president is going to be talking about lowering costs for cost of living, basically the cost of everything for the lower income individuals out there right now. So anyway, very interesting. So what we do know now, he said, they want to lower the cost of living as far as make it easy for everybody to get by right now, covering their bills and just lowering the cost of living, basically lowering the cost of everything out there right now. As we mentioned before as well, to really lower this inflation going forward, it's not going to be something like they can flip a switch And all of a sudden, one way when we wake up, the prices have come down 25% on everything at the store. No, unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. That's not really how it works. This is a very long-term solution. This takes very long time to actually get a handle on. Prices don't just come down overnight. That just doesn't really happen unless there's some kinds of flash sale or something like that. But that's usually very isolated things like this. It's not across all sectors, all products, all services, everything like that. So we're not going to see some massive price drop on everything out there that we want to buy at the stores or things like this. But rather, it's going to be like a long game, right? Basically trying to figure out how can we actually shore up the supply chain issues, how can we lower this inflation, and what is the recipe to do that? Again, the president will be calling on the revised or whatever they want to call it, this legislation that he'll be calling on as far as the Build Back Better agenda, because they continue to say that this whole thing is paid for and it won't actually cause any additional inflation. We'll have to wait and see how it actually performs. And tomorrow should be pretty interesting. But either way, it looks like Congress is back at it working once again on the stimulus package. The legislation, I was going to call it the Build Back Better agenda, but honestly it's not that anymore. It's the legislation. They don't have the cute name for it anymore, but I'm sure they're coming up with something at some point. Or we could call it the reconciliation bill. But essentially, it is the stimulus package. It's something that they're going to pass through strictly with Democratic votes through the House, and then of course it through the Senate with just the 50 votes plus the one from the Vice President in order to get it through. However, they also did mention today that some of the legislation that the President will be talking about tomorrow may actually need the 60 votes required in the Senate. We'll have to see if that actually happens or if that can actually have chance of passing through Congress or through the Senate. This will be in regards to the Build Back Better agenda, the reconciliation bill, or the stimulus package, the one that we've been talking about since April of 2021. Yeah, pretty much a year now we've been talking about this thing because that's when it was originally introduced. So wow, a very long time now. And who knows, maybe they'll get in something done, and maybe there'll be some kind of surprise out there from the president tomorrow. During the speech, I guess only time will tell. I hope this one helps you out, and don't worry, I will bring you the information as soon as I get it. So subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward. Especially all of these updates as things are starting to heat back up once again, as Congress will be working on all this stuff once again here. Also, share the video with your friends, families, and social media. Enjoy your day and I'll catch you later in the next update. I'll see you again.